The National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values is demanding that all political parties make clear their policies on the LGBT issue ahead of the 2020 general election. Some parent and religious leaders, as you may well be aware, have stated they will not accept the introduction of the comprehensive sexuality education in schools, in school curricula across the country, because they believe it is similar to LGBTQ agenda. Even though President Akufo-Addo has allayed the fears of Ghanaians on the matter, the coalition says it will not relent until all political parties make assurances to the Ghanaian people that such subjects will not be introduced in Ghanaian schools. Lawyer Moses Fo Amoning spoke on behalf of the group at their series of monthly press conferences.
Picking up from where the president left off, we're only doing, we're just at an activation of the president's general statement. So, you know, all Ghanaians don't like this. And it's not only this year. You remember when Cameron spoke, Professor Mills spoke against it. It was a lot of bubble and then it went down. So we think that we must come to a point where we have a strategy to respond to it holistically, what we call a comprehensive national and Pan-African response to the whole LGBT agenda. Because if we don't like it, then what's our position? And we all know our position. The Western Eurocentric viewpoint is that LGBTQI phenomena is a lifestyle. They like it, they love it, fine. But we in Africa and the Muslim Arab world, and even in Asia, Latin America, and even the majority of the people in Europe and America, because the LGBTQ movement, they are just 0.0% of the population in Europe and America. But because they have money and they've got influence, that's why they seem to be projecting an opinion as representing what the world believes in. We in Africa, we believe that it's a psychosocial problem with biological and medical sides to it, and you can have a five-fold solution to it: psychological, psychiatric, psychosocial counseling, medical methods, and the spiritual aspect. If you put all of that together, then you can have a solution. So all we are saying is that the best that the political parties can do, because they want us to hand over the sovereignty of the people. Don't forget that by the Constitution, sovereignty resides in the people of this country. Every 4 years, we delegate that power to you. So if we're going to do so, then you must reflect what we believe in, not you what you believe in or a few of your people believe in. All right? So tell us, what is your policy position on the LGBT agenda? Because whether we like it or not, the LGBT movement is one of the most, in fact, if not the most organized and the most resourced movement, social movement the world has ever known. And if we don't respond to it holistically and in a structured manner, then we're going to suffer. So the politicians should do Ghanaians a favor, because in the elections, we're going to ask questions. Where is your manifesto? In it, is there a response? And we're saying as a coalition, we're going to help them, because you need a lot of research information. I noticed that when the CSE discussion started, I could see a lot of my media friends just looked at the educational bit. They didn't understand the perspective and the angle, strategic angle from which all of this was coming from. For which reason, we need to inform people. It's not everybody who has studied the LGBT strategies over the years. And so we're going to give the politicians the information. Indeed, we are writing to all of them. We're going to meet them during the course of the week. And we are inviting all of them to the first in the series of the National Consultative Forum in respect of this matter. That's taking place on the 29th of October at 8 o'clock at the Osu Presbyterian Church, where we look at all the perspective, the legal, the scientific and health, the theological and educational perspectives, and the public and private institutional response to all these matters. When we finish, we'll put the resolutions together and then put it before the executive to develop a policy, and then the legislature to come out with a legislative.
Lawyer Moses Fo Amoning there. Well, a member of the coalition, Dr. Samuel Onwuna, however, wants all the books on comprehensive sexuality education in Ghana banned.
If you say it is not going to happen under your presidency, then show us the destruction of the manual, because it's been produced. They have copies. Number two, the curriculum program for class 4 to class 6 has been produced. And it says that, I think item number 9 for class 4 and class 5 is CSE. Item number 1 for class 6 is CSE. It came off the press September 2019. Where are those documents? We want to see them burnt to ashes. If the president says it's not going to happen, then what are you keeping the books for? Number 3, supplementary budget of the Minister of Finance. Supplementary budget is when you propose to spend 200 million and you realize by the middle of the year that you really need 250 million, i.e. because things didn't work out or new programs have become necessary to be added. So you're asking for 50 extra million supplementary to the original budget. In the supplementary budget of the Minister of Finance, there's a paragraph on CSE. In other words, the Minister of Finance has gone to Parliament to say, give us money to complete this program. So if the President says it's not happening, we want to see that money allocated to something else. So it is not over by simply saying it's not happening under my presidency. We want to see action, real action. We want to see physical destruction of the...
I'm joined on the line now by Dr. Samuel Owona, who you saw just speaking there. He's a member of the coalition. Hello, Dr. Owona.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to your...
Thank you very much for your time. So you're calling for destruction of the manuals.
Well, you see, what do you want to keep them for? Right now, have you noticed how this thing is beginning to be politicized? We are not interested in politics on this matter. If somebody goes and brings a lion home to raise as a pet, we don't waste our time arguing about who brought in the lion or the fox. We take it out because it will grow up and chop all of us, finish us. So CSC is a deadly satanic program. We don't want it. Period.
So the question will be that how exactly will destruction of the manual solve the problem that you have?
Well, it's not a question of solving the problem. That we have already proposed that we should come up with. We need to get a proper homegrown solution, not what the UNFPA guy is talking about. Okay, we've made that point in 2 programs on television, GTV Live. The first one was a critique of CSE. The second one was on the way forward, where we have proposed a holistic civic and moral education program involving all the stakeholders, NUCs, NAGRAD, school prefects, and some of these science people, PTAs. We are talking about a homegrown solution. Now, I heard Ken Ejapon this afternoon talking about hypocrisy and using religion and culture as if we don't know anything. Please, Ken Ejapon, let's respect each other. It is not about hypocrisy and ignorance, okay? The whole issue here is this, okay? And you and General Mosquito, please stop the politics. Ghana doesn't belong to NDC and MPP. It belongs to all of us. We are trying to preserve the sanctity of the youth in terms of the cultural values and within our society. Let's work together, and that's what the coalition stands for. We are not playing politics with anybody. It doesn't. One is accusing the other of bringing it, and it doesn't matter. It's water under the bridge. Moving forward, let's work together for Ghana, for the betterment of Ghana, for the youth of Ghana. That is our position. We don't want to play politics with this, so we won't go in that direction. Now, when he says that we don't know what we are talking about, we have brought in a homosexual from Philippines who was trying to be a transgender. We organized private meetings for homosexuals. We are aware 600 showed up, including pastors. So, Japan, don't think that we are just blah, blah, blahing around. We have been able to meet with 600 homosexuals in Ghana, in Accra, and we are working with them to provide solutions to that dangerous situation they are in. They all came, weeping and regretting. It's not only here, it's happening in the US. Many have gone transgender and want to come back. It's too late. So this issue, we are adopting a comprehensive approach. Okay?
So speaking of a comprehensive approach, you just indicated that you've provided a researched, holistic alternative.
No, I'm talking about a solution to the LGBTQ agenda. Okay?
Right. That's what I want you to, Doc. I want you to just briefly summarize what this holistic approach is? What is it?
Okay. Okay. Basically, what we are saying is this: we are proposing a holistic civic and moral education. Civic because, you know, the whole basis of this CSC and LGBTQ is sexual pleasure, and it says sexual rights for all people of all ages. Parents don't have any control. This is what this PPAD, IPPF, UNESCO, UNFPA concept is all about. And that is deadly. We are saying we are not against sexual education, but want to do it within the cultural confines where we will maintain the cultural sanctity. And so we are asking for broad stakeholder involvement. Civic in the sense that civic education deals with both rights and responsibility. When we did civic education in primary school, we were taught that it was our civic right to make sure that we keep the environment clean. It taught us about patriotism. It taught us about good governance. So civic education, we are putting out. And the moral embraces much more than sexuality. And it's not about sexual pleasure. We have our cultural values. We are not against sex education, but we don't want to start with kindergarten and 4-year-olds showing them how to put on condoms and how to do masturbation and enjoy themselves. If you look at the definition of the CSC carefully, they are talking about teaching them to know their sexuality. Who tells you? That's what I was asking the Honorable Minister of Education. Who says boys don't know their boys and girls don't know their girls? Genetically, we know XX is female, XY is male. 23 chromosomes each. The fact that you have gone in to use some hormones to pump up your breast to look like a woman doesn't turn the rest. You have 23 chromosomes. If you do physical adjustment to make your face look like a woman and dress your hair and put on something that gives you breast pumping out like a woman, you are joking. What about the remaining genes that are still have defined you as a man or defined you as a woman? It's impossible. As simple as that. Now they are talking is neither male nor female, but definition is fluid. They have 15 different genders. And that's what I said in the first clip. Excuse me to say that is nonsense. That is nonsense. It's either or. Why all this chaos and confusion? So we need to come together. And we are not against sex education.
So
we are saying moral goes beyond sex alone. We talk of moral education because there we can deal with sexual issues, we can deal with bribery and corruption, we can deal with responsibilities in society, including this banking crisis. You don't take somebody's money as deposit and go and use it to generate business when you haven't generated profit.
And that's the alternative you're proposing.
That's the alternative we are proposing, and we are asking for a much broader stakeholder participation.
Okay.
We said bring in primary schools, bring in, so I said primary schools, bring in school prefects, bring in selected members of the National Science and Print Program, NUC, NATRAC, PTA. Let's have a broad-based
conversation.
Leaders. Let's have a broad-based consultative group. There are many people who have called us and are ready to provide free service to the government. Give them one month. You will get a comprehensive or holistic civic and moral education program done. And then we have, if you like, we go out on public discussion to get views from the general public, and we are there. In 3 months, you can have a holistic moral and civic education program and throw out this satanic agenda of the CSC.
Very well said. Dr. Samuel Owona there, he's a member of the Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values there. Joining us with his thoughts. The coalition there, they believe that once President Akufo-Addo says the comprehensive sexuality education curriculum will not be introduced under his watch, then those documents must be destroyed. Now let's do something on before we even go on to the mental health, let me quickly bring you a statement. Like you heard Dr. Owona there, he's speaking against the politicization of this issue. But what we also know is that the NDC has issued a statement about this matter. I'll go quickly through that statement for you. It says It says the NDC's press statement on the Akufo-Addo's belated and insincere position on his satanic CSE program, and it reads: the National Democratic Congress has noted the belated and insincere assurances of President Akufo-Addo to the leadership of the religious community to the effect that comprehensive sexuality education would not be introduced in the school curriculum under his watch. We note that the president elected to speak only after the horses had bolted from the stable door and in the face of an avalanche of condemnation which he could no longer ignore. The NDC finds it extremely difficult to reconcile the president's belated lame assurances with the well-established and concrete facts known to many. The statement goes on to say that Ghanaians are well aware that CSE has already found expression in the new standard-based curriculum and the teacher resource packs for basic schools. This is an incontrovertible fact which teachers and their union leaders have confirmed firmly and publicly. Ghanaians are now privy to a raft of official documentation which include the 2019 budget statement approved by Parliament last year, invitation letters and reports of workshops that have earlier been convened to train teachers on CSE implementation. Also, contrary to the claims of President Akufo-Addo, it is clear from objectives of the approved CSE guidelines that at the core of this satanic program is a subtle attempt by the government to inculcate in our children acceptance and tolerance for LGBT, which affronts our laws and socio-cultural values as a people. It wraps up by saying that the Akufo-Addo government has not denied its commitment to her international partners who have so far provided what government describes as generous funding for the elaborate rollout of CSE in Ghana, both within the school system and in communities targeting out-of-school settings. Furthermore, the President's Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, is launching the CSE guidelines on 1st February 2019, thanked the government's international collaborators for the support and especially for admitting Ghana into the 5-member Program Acceleration Country, that's the PAC. Indeed, because of funding from the government of Sweden, the agreement for UNFPA to provide CSE technical assistance to the Ghana Education Service has not been abrogated, and there is no indication from President Akufo-Addo it will be abrogated. It says that additionally, it is significant to point out that the CSE Program Implementation Officer, who was recently recruited to be the focal person for CSE implementation in Ghana, is still at post and busy functioning from his UNESCO Ghana office. Confronted with the reality of an elaborate and well-funded CSE rollout in Ghana, with the full support of the Akufo-Addo administration, the NDC finds it audaciously immoral and blasphemous that the president looks in the eye of respected clergy and Islamic clerics to deny the obvious. And I'll quickly go to the final paragraph on that statement. It says that we wish to re-echo the profound statement of our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that what Ghana needs is an improvement in quality education, and hereby serve notice that a future NDC government will be under no obligation whatsoever to respect the obnoxious CSE agreements the Akufo-Addo-led government has entered into. That's about 2 or 3 page document released by the opposition NDC on that matter. But like Dr. Owona says, the matter should not be politicized.